you guys. I'm so excited. It's Quantum Magic Mondays, 12 p.m. PST. You will find me here with amazing guests and people. And today I am so excited because it's one of my best friends, Tanya Memme. Ah, you in the house. She is a, Emmy nominated TV host, producer, keynote speaker. You were on Sell This House for 10 years, and then it was off for 7 years, and now you're back on and doing episodes. You're back. Yay. So you're in Texas right now, right?
No, I'm in Philadelphia.
Philadelphia. What am I talking about? Texas. Where did I get
I thought it was Texas because, okay, so you're right, because the first 6 episodes, so we were picked up for 20 episodes, was for the A&E network and the FYI network. So it's amazing news, but then we got shut down. So the first 6 were in Texas, and then we got shut down because of COVID. And now we're shooting the rest of the 13 to finish the first season, which is 20 episodes in Philadelphia. So that's kind of why you
How
got
has that been filming in the middle of a pandemic?
Well, I kind of know what it feels like the before and after, because we were filming just before everybody got shut down, and now we're back. And we're one of the first production companies that are able to go out. One of the first shows shooting, really. We started, oh gosh, a month ago, and we were one of the first. And I think it's because we have such a small crew, and it's a very intimate group, and we're making it smaller and smaller and smaller. So I think that's why we get to go back, but it's all very strange doing all of this in COVID. I can't even tell you how weird it is.
Yeah, even us getting set up with this video chat was hilarious. We spent probably 30 minutes trying to do this. It was so great. Oh my gosh, where do I even start with you? Because I just like, we go 10 years back already. You crowned me in Miss Canada Teen Global 2010, and you were Miss Canada.
I was, oh my gosh, many years ago.
It's crazy. And so like I want to ask, okay, first I want to ask your opinion on COVID and this whole pandemic stuff, but like before we get into that, I think what advice would you have for people wanting to get into, acting and TV and hosting and what you're doing right now, because the industry is changing so much and everything's kind of transferring into online, and what's your opinion and take on how everything's going and where you see it going?
Oh gosh, I mean, wow, that's a big question. But I mean, if there's anything else you'd rather be doing, go do that. That's number one.
Yeah, it's a lot less glamorous than it looks.
Um, I mean, if I were starting out in the business, I don't know if this is what I would want to do. It's tough. It's hard. It's 10 times harder than anyone ever says it is. There's always going to be somebody better and smarter and faster and better at, online stuff than you are, and better actor, better. You have to know that going into it. And a lot of it is just chance and possibilities. And, they always say that success is when preparation meets opportunity, right? So even when you're not working or you have to constantly be prepared for that day. And that, I think, is the hardest thing. It's like seeing the victory when it's not there yet, and preparing yourself for that victory, even when it's just it's just physically right in the present day, not there, and just keeping yourself going and going, and the tenacity and the not giving up. It's hard. And this business doesn't give you a lot of glory. It doesn't give you a lot of, you get a lot of negativity thrown your way for that one positive thing that can change your life. It's nuts. Why we do it, I don't know.
I know, and that's, I think, was my next question, is kind of like what kind of kept you going and kept you fueled and kept you wanting to even stay in the industry when you were getting backlash, or you got the no's and then maybe one yes, but like, yeah, what was your process, and what was that for you?
I think it's different for everybody, but for me, it goes way back to, like, honestly, I've realized this, I'm 49 years old now, so I've been doing this for a long time, but it goes back to when I was a kid and a teenager. And, we all want attention from our parents. And I have 2 brothers that are so smart beyond belief. One works at Google now, and one runs like a very high-end construction company. And I just felt like during those years, I couldn't get their attention or their approval, because I wasn't that great in school and I didn't really excel at this. I was always average. I was the average kid. But then all of a sudden I started winning pageants and I started excelling at, dancing. And I was never a great dancer, but I just liked the feedback I got. And so every time I was out there on stage or whatever, I started, and then when you start winning, so I won the Miss Niagara pageant and then I won Miss Canada. And then I started getting a lot of attention, I think, from my dad and from other people. And so it's like an attention thing. It's weird.
Right.
I think on a subconscious level, that's why I decided to go into this business without really knowing it.
Right.
And
And
then
later find that out, kind of you discover that now almost.
yes, I just
Yeah.
that now because I'm like, why would I put myself through all of this?
Right.
And I was just very, I come from a really solid family and a very loving family. Don't get me wrong. It's just my father's an entrepreneur, so he wasn't there a lot because he was building this housing development company, which now my brother runs. And so he wasn't there a lot when I was a kid. But I was very much raised in the eyes of a entrepreneur, of a hardworking. My father's from Italy. He came to Canada with like no money. So I was definitely groomed to see what hard work does and how it pays off. And my mom's an artist, so it's amazing. Like, it's just funny how I'm on a home design show now because my mom's an artist, I'm a DIY expert, and my dad builds houses, and it's a home design show. So everything I was raised and was implanted in my subconscious
Yeah, totally.
as a kid is now kind of coming to fruition. And what kept me going all those years? I mean, what keeps any of us going? It's that thing inside that we have, that we know is there, that you just keep going. You just get up that next day and you keep going. I don't know. It's something I can't explain.
Yeah, I feel like that it too is like that intuitiveness of when you know you do really want to be in this business and you do want to be in this industry, even though it might have been like subconscious of maybe the reasoning of why you got involved in it. But I think that it really does call you this industry too.
Yeah,
At the
totally.
time.
For whatever reason it is.
Right, yeah. And people will ask, like, well, how do you know? And for you, like, how did you know? Or did you just know? Did you just feel it?
I think for me, so when I will never forget, I had this moment when I was 11 years old. And I do believe that this moment happens with everybody between like 7 and 13, where they remember this moment, where they either wake up from a dream or have this day or something happens where they have a flashback or a flash forward of why they're here. I don't know. It's hard to explain. And I had this moment, and I grew up on a sod farm. Do you know what a sod farm is? It's like 400 acres of nothing.
Oh, okay, okay. I thought I for some reason thought that was type of wood.
Grass.
Okay. Oh, it's grass. Okay.
Oh, there's my house, and there's all my little cousins' houses. They're all little Italian with bocce ball court swings, and then like 400 acres of grass. So I was in the middle of nowhere, and I remember waking up and going, wow, I saw myself standing on stage in front of a lot of women, and I was speaking. Now that day still hasn't, maybe it's come. I mean, I've been on stage in front of a lot of people, wasn't necessarily women, but for some reason in that moment, I knew that I needed to do something bigger than where I was living. I knew that I was going to end up living either in LA or New York, and it just all came to me that in that moment. But then that went away, and then life goes on, and the pieces of the puzzle just start fitting together. And I won a couple of acting awards in high school, and so I just got I got accolades even younger in this business, and that's where I sort of thrived. And I think that's why I went in this direction, is because that's where I was getting the feedback from.
Yeah, wow. Totally, totally. Which so many people do go through this because I coach artists a lot, and a lot of people they do it. Sometimes a lot of people do it for the wrong reasons, but I feel like some people do it for the right reasons without even realizing it or knowing, because it does lead you and segue into different things in life that are like the next stepping stone and bringing you to that next level. And I feel like too, would you say did you have, were your parents really supportive of the career for you, or like were they kind of like, like you should have a backup plan?
They wanted me to go to university,
Hmm.
right, as we say in Canada, or college.
Yeah.
And so I had to go to college. But the funny thing was that I ended up winning Miss Canada 6 months before graduation. So I went to college for business administration. I minored in theater because that was my passion. And I won Miss Canada 6 months before. So I actually left. I didn't technically graduate. And I feel horrible about that. But then my life just went in other directions. But that was really, they were very, very supportive. Couldn't have been more supportive. And I'm a big, big believer that parents, please, please support your kids. Even if their dreams are crazy, don't ever try and hold them back, because they're going to do it anyways. And if you build up all these blocks and weird things in their mind, they're going to fail. So you need to support them. You can really screw up your kids by not supporting their dreams. And
Absolutely.
I was given that gift from my parents. Some kids also thrive in spite of, well, you know, the more people that tell me no. So, hey, maybe, I don't know. Maybe I don't know what I'm saying here, but it's like, I'm just a believer in supporting your kids and being, you know.
I'm right with you with that because I think that a lot of times parents try to tell versus guide and like try to be like, you have to do this or this is what you need to do versus like, oh, this is what you want to do. I'm here and support that, you know? And you're a mom too. So, like, what is it? Okay. I have so much. I just feel like I have so much I want to ask you. So, like, your mom, Ava's 7 now?
She's 9.
She's 9 now. Oh my God, what am I talking about? You know when you always see them in the same age?
Totally.
Like you were just saying to me the other day. So she's 9 now.
Years younger than you are, and I see you all the time.
I know. She's like, so you're still 20, you're 25. I'm like, no, I'm 29 now. Almost. I'm 28, but yeah. So funny. How has it been through this time with Ava and having a daughter and now you're back on the show and stuff? What's that like for you?
Oh my God, it's been such a process, really. So you know that on my last TV show, I ended up quitting my last TV show, which sometimes I look and I don't think I handled that situation well, but I did leave. And at the same time, I did it because I needed to stay true to my integrity. But then it caused me to be out of work for 5 years.
Right.
So I had those 5 years to really bond with my daughter. And that's kind of how I looked at it, although it was really tough. And I think that she sort of energetically picked up some of the of that. It's difficult to be a single mom and out of work. And no matter what I tried, whose door I knocked on, nothing was opening. And so I got to be able to do that. And then COVID hit. And now that we're back on the road, I can't go, you know, I feel like I'm so happy to be on the show and my dream has come true. And I'm in a better position now that I've ever been with. I mean, A&E is the most incredible network, people behind it, everything. Texas Crew Productions. I couldn't have asked for a more incredible group of people to work with. I've waited my whole year my whole life to work with people like this. Seriously. And, but because of COVID, there's a big sacrifice on the other end, which is I can't go back and forth. Mm-hmm. So I'm here in Philly for 3 months.
Wow, yeah, that's a lot.
3 without being able to see my daughter. And it's really difficult. So FaceTime has been our friend, but she's also so proud of me and understands. And I've, you know, one thing I always want her to do is I let her help me make the decisions. So I said to her, how do you feel about this, about mommy working? And this is what happens if I'm working again. And so happy mommy will be. And, you know, do you think I should go back to work? And she's like, oh, yeah. No, mommy, I'm proud of you. You know, I want to have nice things for school too. And I want to have nice things. And so I have nice things if mommy goes back to work.
Right.
And, you know, and we get to go on a trip together. So I said, after I'm gone for 3 months, she and I are going to go away somewhere. We're going to plan a trip together. And so she's I make her a big part of the decisions that I make career-wise so that she sees that you have to work hard in order to have certain things. And she's a big girl. She's handling it okay. And we call each other almost every day. But it's hard. Like believe me, I've been in tears a couple of times because I miss her so much. But I have the support of the network. I have the support of the production company, the support of my ex-husband, who is her dad. We have a very, very healthy relationship. Which is great. And so she's in very good hands. She's surrounded by lots of love, and that's what is most important.
100%. That's amazing. I'm so happy to hear that. And COVID, how deep can I take this when I want to talk about COVID? Because obviously, you know, I'm super spiritual and into energy and quantum physics and Joe Dispenza, which you are too. Have you done his program yet?
I did his online program. I'm trying to get his course to the in-person ones, although
Yeah.
canceled right now, but I can't get in. I can't get, I mean, I'm trying and trying and trying, and they're always sold out. So I don't know what I'm going to do.
So you obviously believe like we create our own realities. You believe in like the energetic almost life that we have in front of us. Yeah.
I believe that
Yeah.
thoughts become real. Your thoughts have energy, but it's already been scientifically proven that a thought has energy to it.
So do you think that a lot of what's going on and a lot of the scarcity is fueled by a lot of people's energetics and how they're thinking?
like in what way?
I guess like with how scared and the scarcity in society right now, like for example, the toilet paper thing, and just like everything being closed when there's an election coming up in November. It just strikes me as interesting, and you know, that's where I want to go deeper into. Should we be listening to what the news is telling us, or should we really be researching more and double checking and realizing that our bodies really are these magnificent things that are able to heal themselves? And it's so hard because people get so caught up in the 3D reality we're living and what's really happening, but they don't realize that we have the power to actually really change what's going on in our bodies or around us with our thoughts and our choices in everyday life. Do you agree with that?
Yeah, I do. I mean, I think that it depends. So everybody's situation in life is different.
Yeah,
Everybody's current situation right now is very different.
very, yeah.
There's a lot of pain out there. There's a lot of struggle out there. There's a
Yeah,
lot of, some of my friends have had their parents pass because of COVID.
right.
So it's when something like that happens, you fall into depression. They've lost their jobs, and it's hard to pick yourself up from that.
Yeah,
So, I mean, I don't have one answer for all that, but I do believe that doing your own research is key, and double checking and triple checking and finding out where the facts are coming from. I know that there's a lot of conspiracy theories out there. Do I believe in some? I think so. I don't know. Like, I'm
yeah,
trying to figure it all out myself.
right.
There are certain things about COVID that have me totally confused. Um,
Hmm.
but right now, even shooting during this time, we're very careful. Like I had to quarantine. I had to get tested. I think we're all getting tested again. We get our temperatures taken every morning. We have to keep it down to just a few people on set. Like we're following all the guidelines
Right,
very strictly.
right.
And then in our personal time, we're not really allowed to have anyone else come into the circle of our production team, which is good. So we keep everybody safe. But I mean, I don't know. There's a lot of talk out there about all these different theories about, I mean, where do we even begin, right? And so
I know, because I could dive way into all that, but I feel like I would get some backlash from people. So I like to keep it a little surface and light so y'all can do your own research.
well, I do like to listen to foreign news instead of everything from, American news. I
Right.
think that CNN has an agenda, and I think Fox has an agenda, and everybody has their agenda, and I'm trying to figure out what everybody's agenda is.
Absolutely.
I know that we're trying to figure out if there's truth to the hydrochloroquine situation. Does that work? Is that does it work? Does it not? I have, friends of mine, I don't want to say their names because I don't want to bring that into it, but like very reliable doctors that have said the hydrochloroquine works. And I mean, but do I know for a fact? No. I mean, I would love to hear more people that have been healed from hydrochloroquine speaking.
Yeah.
I hear doctors talking about it, whether they believe it or not, but I'm not hearing people talk about it. So that's odd for me. Like, where are all these patients, these hundreds and thousands of patients that have been cured from it?
Right.
Or are
Well, then there's the fact of like, which is scary too, that these big social media companies are also owned by some of the biggest big wigs in the industry and in politics and all that stuff. So At what point
They're
are they
talking.
controlling the content?
Yeah. So maybe they're talking and they're being suppressed.
Right.
I don't know. We're only hearing so much, I guess. Like if it's true that they're suppressing people's opinions and content, and I've seen stuff be pulled down and ripped down.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. It's happened to me. Mm-hmm.
Video no longer exists.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
Everything to me right now, I'm just like sitting here going, there's a big,
Question everything.
I'm just learning, taking it in, trying to figure out what I believe. But I do want to follow as much as I can the guidelines so that I can keep working and
Totally. And I don't discount that at all. And I think people think like the conspiracy theorist thing and then like people that are saying, well, there is maybe another agenda and do your research. People take that as like, oh, well, then so what? You're not going to wear a mask and you're not going to follow. No, I'm not saying don't do that. It's out there. It's real. People are dying from it. Absolutely. But do I think it's inhumane to stay in four walls and not go outside and breathe in fresh air and have a mask covering your main source of oxygen at all times and fueling your body with the news of just such negative stuff and then hearing all these things with weird numbers on testing and positive tests coming back from people who didn't even take like just really interesting things, you know?
yeah, I heard some. I mean, this is all hearsay again. I mean,
Right.
a friend of mine recently, actually last night, told me that a few of his friends had been tested, and then they were in line to get tested, and then they jumped out of line and came back positive, and they didn't even take the test. So I mean, I don't know, but is it? I heard that from a friend of mine that I would think was very reliable and his friends, but who knows? I mean, this is my thing. I don't want to fill my mind with a lot of this, like all of this scarcity and like, I mean, I feel like I watch the news like CNN and everything is just everything's like red, 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 you know? And try to keep my daughter somewhat a lot sheltered from the news where I explain things to her. She knows what she needs to know.
Yeah.
Be cautious and to be very aware of what's going on, but I don't want it coming from the news the way it comes. So I don't watch the news actually all the time. I'll read little clips here and there to keep updated.
Yeah.
And I like reading foreign news instead.
Yeah.
And I get just enough, but I don't want to get caught. I just don't think that listening to the news every day is healthy at this point.
No, it keeps you in that frequency and it goes right back to thoughts become things. If that is your world and you're constantly listening to that, when all those people definitely have agendas, there are definitely things going on. It's common sense to why are you following that? Like, I feel like people really need to intuitively start listening to themselves, intuitively start asking their own questions and doing their own research. And that's really,
I know. I agree with you, and just stand back from it and observe more than get all caught up in it, and take the information that you need and protect yourself wisely. And but that's kind of what I do. If I was listening to the news every single day, and there are times when I get caught up in it and I get so depressed, like I just can't even get myself out of and then I'm afraid of like everything.
right. And when you're in that state of mind, you're so much easier to contract it because that's the fear level and frequency of a disease and something like that. Dis-ease.
Yeah.
When you are in a state of dis-ease and fear and scared and listening to that and holding yourself in that frequency, you're absolutely more susceptible to get sick and to go and experience whatever that may be.
Yeah, I mean, for me, my best advice would be just to eat really healthy, definitely get exercise, and go to somewhere where nobody's around if you can. So get your car and try to get away from the city to a place where you can be in fresh air by yourself or with your family, the people that you're quarantining with, and do that as much as you can. But eating healthy and staying positive through all of this, because eventually one day this will go away.
Yeah.
I don't know if we have another one coming around the corner. I don't know, but this will go away, and hopefully we'll be back to somewhat of our normal lives. I don't know. Maybe our lives will be changed forever. In some ways, I'm sure it will.
And how has it affected, like you have Life Masters, which is your show and podcast. So you've been interviewing amazing life coaches, life masters who have accomplished amazing things. How has that affected your business and what you're doing with that? Tell us more about that.
For Life Masters, it's interesting because now I've shifted a little bit. So Life Masters is basically I wanted to interview 100 people that hit rock bottom, and I wanted to learn how they got out of it, to share these bits of wisdom and tools that they used or experienced. And I was interviewing a lot of these different professionals as far as like self-help gurus, and now I interview just everyday people that have had these extraordinarily crazy circumstances happen in life and how they got out of it. So it hasn't really affected it that way. If anything, it's sort of added to the depth of the questions have changed a little bit, and it's very interesting hearing everybody's perspective on it.
Yeah.
So that's been really cool to learn. I like learning from a lot of different people how they feel about what's going on in the world today, and so that's always a part of my interview. But as far as my work, I mean, yeah, it's definitely changed. But hey, I was out of work for 5 years, not during COVID.
Right.
And now I'm one of the few that is working. So I'm just grateful for every second, that we're working. And every episode we get in the can literally is a huge accomplishment, because we could get shut down any minute from a total shutdown, a city shutdown. Not from anything we're doing. We're doing everything right. But it's like from a city shutdown, we don't even know if we're going backwards or forwards or where it's going to go. So.
Right.
But it's definitely affected how we're shooting. Even on camera, we have like social distancing on camera and all that. So.
Well, that's good. I mean, it is important for people to, execute and really make sure everyone's staying safe. And would you, if you could give any advice for tools and things that maybe help you during these times when you maybe get lonely, or if you're feeling in one of those states, like what are some tools that you use and you go through on the daily or here or there for you that help with stress or with your mindset or where you're at?
I think one of the things I've done is I've connected with people I haven't connected with in a long time over a face chat or Zoom or, Google Meet, whatever that is. But like I've reached out to relatives I haven't spoken to in a long time. And after a while, honestly, like always being on the computer talking in a room by yourself gets old after a while.
Yeah.
But I think connecting with people during this time has really changed my frame of mind for sure. It depends on who you're calling to. Some people can really put you in the dumps as well.
Right.
But you know who to talk to.
Yes.
You even grab a glass of wine and chat, and I've literally reconnected, and I love it. So that's one thing. And then another thing is I'm writing a book right now. So I'm doing that. I'm working on my brand new website because I have so many new things coming out. So that's kept me busy. There are so many things out there online now. Take a class. I started cooking vegan. I'm doing things that I always wanted to do that didn't have time to do before.
That was my next question. Do you feel like it's almost, has it allowed you, and do you feel like it's allowed people to kind of step into like maybe what they truly wanted or who they really truly are, even though it might look like negative on the outside, but really maybe there's like some gold on the inside?
Well, I think it's giving us time to test things out. I mean, when do you get time to test out a new career? When you get time to test out a new way of eating? Like I was not going to sit on the couch and eat bonbons all day and gain 25 pounds and say, oh, it's because of COVID. Like, no. I haven't been exercising as much as I can, as much as I want to, because I haven't been really going outside. That's, it's been hard. I'm in Philadelphia. You make one turn and I don't, it's like I don't know the area that well.
Right. Yeah.
And it's hard
Makes sense.
Myself. Yeah. But but there's so many things that you can do to keep yourself happy for the most part, or at least in a half decent frame of mind. But I think a lot of it is, who are you quarantining with? Who are you surrounding yourself with? What are the choices that you're making? And I have my bad days too, where I'm totally depressed, going, oh my God, this whole world is never going to go back to normal. And I mean, I get down too. I have my bad days. I totally do.
And I'm curious to ask you in those bad days, because do you do anything for yourself or have a tool or something that works for you? For me, I just literally, if I know I'm in that state, I stop working. I'm like not trying to come from a place of that energetic. So I'll just like take the day for myself. But is there anything you do?
Yeah, I stop. I'll put a movie on and just, and it won't be a happy movie.
Feel the feels.
Pandemic on Netflix. That'll make me feel better.
I love it. I love it. Oh my gosh, it's
I
so
don't know.
true.
I just let myself be there for a little bit. Sometimes you just have to let yourself not feel okay and not feel bad about it. Just be there and sit there and it's sit out the guilt.
But and I love that because I'm all about that. But then it's like that balance of like finding when are you starting to use it as a victim or a crutch, and when do you need to be like, okay, nope, I'm gonna get up and I'm gonna do it.
Usually it's the next morning.
Yeah, yeah, totally. Me too. Me too.
I give myself 24 hours to kind of get over it. And then, and then usually by the next morning, I'm feeling a little better. But I have to tell you, a lot of it has to do with the food I eat. Like, really. Um, when I'm in a bad mood, all I want to eat is chips and I fall into my little bad thing. And then when the next day I feel horrible. So I know that. So if I'm in a bad mood and I'm unhappy about the way life is going and I hate, I don't really enjoy wearing masks either, but we got to do it. But if I start, like, I know that in that time, I don't eat bad so that the next
Right.
morning, so I really have controlled the, I'm very on top of what I put in my body, not only from an
Right.
aesthetic point of view, because I am like getting a little older, but also from a mental point of view. What?
You look like you're in your 30s, so I'm like,
But I
I want to be you.
I eat. I tell people it's not because I definitely don't exercise enough. I exercise, but with calming things. I like doing yoga and hiking and things like that because I don't want to hurt myself. I feel like.
Right. Right.
And I'll do the stairs sometimes. But it's like, yeah, I think a lot of it, your mental frame of mind, I believe, is directly connected to your thoughts and how you feed your body. It's very,
Absolutely. Yeah, I couldn't agree more. And it's I think people don't realize how small of a shift it is, but you just got to stick to those shifts and like make those be a bit disciplined. And when you start to see those results, you feel the results, and that's when the shift starts happening.
yeah, yeah. And even if it's
It's
those little things, just keep chipping away at those little things. But don't use COVID as an excuse to let everything go. Because to me, I'm looking at COVID as a chance to try something new without the guilt. Because what else are we gonna do?
exactly, yeah. And I think too, staying in the moment for me has really helped, and just really not trying to figure out like what next week or in 2 weeks could be, or what I'm really trying. And of course, I have my goals, and I'm sure you do too, but not getting too focused in on the execution of what the expectation is for those goals either.
You can't be attached to the outcome of it. You just have to try and
Yeah.
just one step in front of the other and keep going. And I mean, God knows during those 5 years, I certainly tried. And the world was moving forward. There was no COVID. And it's a lot harder to be out of work when no one else is. At least
Right.
it feels like no one else is. And no one, I don't know. And one of the things I always say is that when you're in your rock bottom, you feel like nobody's really there to help. And you got to figure it out on your own. It's like there are certain things we go through in life. We go through birth, we go through death on our own. No one is there to hold your hand. It just happens. And there are moments in life where we hit rock bottom, and those are the times when you have to change I had to change my frame of mind. For me, I know this is what happened, and then I was drawing in the right people that then went like this and said, let me help you. But it took me
And
5
that's like that's an energetic, almost, I like to call it, we die, we are born and die multiple times in our life, because that in itself is almost like its own energetic death. Like you had to really switch your mind and your perspective and where you were energetically at for those opportunities and people and things to be like, okay, she's ready for the next step.
yeah, yeah, it was hard though, and it wasn't fun. um,
Absolutely.
it's no fun
Yeah.
and losing everything and hitting rock bottom. It was really hard. I'm still just building myself back up. But yeah, it's been a very
And it's been amazing to watch you, because I feel like I've seen you in your whole, we've been friends 10 years now.
yeah. It's been a tough
It's
10 years. You're finally seeing me grow again. Like my wings are starting to spread again. You've only seen me doing that, like, but really, I would say more on you've seen me through the hard times more than and the, the good times.
But it makes it that much more fruitful for me to see you now and see you so happy and see you in your flow and essence. And I'm just so grateful that you are doing what you love. So that's amazing.
you just can't quit. You got to keep going. And I mean, when I hit my rock bottom, I lost everything. I mainly lost my self identity. I had all these accolades and Emmy nominated and all this stuff. And that's who I attached myself to. And then when I was out of work for so many years, because I literally quit a job because I thought the environment was just so toxic, and I wanted to set an example for my daughter. That's really why I quit. And for all the other people on set, it wasn't just women, people on set that I felt were being abused at the time.
Yeah.
Now the show has completely revamped. They took care of everything. It's a beautiful show again. I miss everybody on set, and the people that I think were causing the issues are no longer there. But going from that and having a full career and being attached to all the labels and all the accolades, and then having nothing, the phone starts ringing, agents drop me, managers let me go. I have one agent that kept me on, was my infomercial agent, Blair Taylor.
Yeah, I met Blair, yeah.
Blair was the only one that kept me on, and I'll never forget that. And
but people don't forget that stuff. It's funny how full circle things come back around. So relationship building and continuing to always have people's best interests at heart, I think is also important in this industry.
He believed in me. He really did. He always stuck with me. And Blair and I have had our battles here and there, but no, in the end, we both believed in each other. And we just stuck through it, and then I met the most amazing man on the planet who also believed in me, and even during my worst days, he just still stuck by my side. And I mean, one of the first things I did during those 5 years I was out of work and literally lost everything. I was married at the time, so I lost my marriage, I lost my house, I lost 90% of my money. I mean, my self-identity was gone because no one cared. And every door I knocked on was like, you're a has-been, you're done. And I'm in my late 40s and I'm thinking, I'm done. So then I tried to get jobs, starting a new company, a new business, and I chose all the wrong business partners, like badly. So I invested the money I had left into these businesses, but when you don't pick the right business partner, it's not going to go well. And that's because I was coming from a place, never ever pick a business partner when you're not coming from a strong place. Take the time first to heal before you start making any decisions business-wise, because you're going to make the decisions out of fear, which is what I did. And like, oh my God, I got to do this, I got to do that, I got to save myself, I need to make money, how am I going to do, and I did. My daughter and I lived in a teeny tiny little dark apartment for a year. I didn't like the apartment, but I called it my magical little apartment because that's where everything started to turn around, was when I moved into this teeny tiny little dark and noisy and everything you don't want in an apartment. That's what I had in this apartment. And it was weird because it was not where I wanted to live, but it's where things started to change and my life started to get better. And yeah, but I think one of the biggest lessons I learned is you have to surround yourself with people that love and care about you. And if that means family members gotta hit the road, then they do. If that means friends do, I mean, honestly, you have to be selfish. You have to grab onto that little thing inside and put yourself first, no matter what.
And those boundaries, I'm finally learning, oh my gosh, those boundaries are key.
Yeah, they really are. And then when you start surrounding yourself with people that aren't constantly taking from you, that are actually giving you and you're giving back equally, it makes the world of difference.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. Because I mean, I went through a bit of a dark phase as well in my life when, in our time that we've kind of been flowing together, and I feel like that all just kind of correlates with what we've been talking about and how we've been able to step in when you do go through that dark phase and that dark period. And like you said, that dark apartment almost flourished into that new light. And it's like when you do hit that rock bottom, I want to leave people with this, is like, there's always that light that's coming. And when you're in the worst part, in the worst headspace, just know that something is gonna happen for you. And it's not always right around the corner, but like, I feel like you do need to go through some darkness to really value the light and step into the light almost.
and not be the victim. You have to really just when you have to get out of that victim mode. I was in the victim mode for many years, like I'd say at least 4 to the 5 years.
Yeah, I was in that mode for a while.
That's why I quit. That's because of that person, this and that. And I quit because I made my own decisions to quit. So you have to can't be in the victim mode and expect that great things are going to happen if you just wait it out. It doesn't work like that.
Yes.
Change your mind, you'll change your energy, change your friends, change your job, change whatever it is to feel like the weight is lifted, and then sit with that for a bit. And then that's the beginning of the new chapter.
Right. And realizing too, I think that everyone in our lives really is a mirror and reflecting back whatever internally we're going through. And that's kind of a mind F in itself because it's like, but people don't want to take responsibility, I think, for what their frequency, where their frequency really truly is sometimes.
Yeah.
You know?
They don't. And they keep repeating the same problems over and over again and not changing and not taking responsibility. And
exactly.
It can be an addiction to the drama too. So
that too, taking responsibility, I think, is so key for people, and really analyzing the people and the energetic connections you have in life is so key.
Yeah. And and I was asked by a friend of mine 2 days ago. She says to me, she goes, well, how do you know when was that day that you stopped making the bad decisions in your relationships? And she's just like, I said, when you had enough.
Yep.
I mean, it's really that simple.
Yep. Just decide. There's just this, it happened to me recently where I just was like, I have someone messaging me nonstop, and I'm like, no, I'm just not available like that anymore. I'm just not. Sorry.
When you've had enough. And whether it's relationships, jobs, friends, drama, addictions. But when you inside, addictions is a whole other thing, but you know what I'm saying. When you've had enough, you'll start to make the changes.
Yeah.
No matter what it is, you'll start to make the next. You're not going to make the same mistakes so much. You're gonna.
Right. It's like how badly do you want change? Because at the end of the day, if you're okay with banging your head against the wall and continuing to do it, then you're gonna do it for another 10 years. You know?
You want more.
Yeah.
You're still okay with it. I mean, that's really.
You want more shit, or do you want good stuff? Which one?
But when you've had enough, and you've really had enough, it will stop.
Yeah.
That's what happened to me. Came to the point I had enough.
And then did you feel that in that moment of enough and having enough, was it like each decision started to slowly kind of change with what you would accept?
It was like instant.
Yeah.
I just got that person out of my life. That person, I set boundaries with that person. I set boundaries with that person. I chose this job. I chose that business partner. I chose, you know what I mean?
It started, feel powerful.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah.
That is so good. Oh my gosh, I'm just loving all this. This has been so good. So good. Okay, cool. Well, I love you. I'm so grateful for this, and thank you so much, because I know so many people are going to see this, and I think it's going to resonate with a lot of people and what they're going through, and just I think hearing it from other people and knowing that other people go through it is just very eye-opening as well. So.
And you're really, I enjoyed this interview too. You're really good at it. You're a great interviewer. It was awesome. Yeah. Yeah.
So much fun. I love it.
Oh my God. I watch you on like your Instagram. It's like anybody who's not following Shay, you have to follow her on her Instagram. So many.
I love it. Thank you. And where can people go to see your home and family episodes? Where can they go to follow you? So Sell This House, but is it like, do they just type in sellthishouse.com or?
So Sell This House, follow me on social media, because I will be telling everybody when the next episodes come out. But the show is on A&E, so you have to have A&E or FYI.
Okay.
You have to have cable to watch it for now. Eventually it'll come out on Apple TV or whatever you have online. Okay. But right now, if you have A&E, put in the search Sell This House, and then you'll see when it airs. But it's there. Perfect. And new episodes come out in September, and then another batch comes out in the spring, unless that changes. But
Okay.
have 20 episodes for everybody to see. By November, we should have them all done.
Okay, perfect. And what is your Instagram handle?
At Tanya Memme Official.
Okay, perfect.
I've been on television, I still don't get a blue check mark. And I will tell you this, I refuse to pay for it. I don't think it's fair to pay for it. It's like paying for an Emmy,
Yeah,
paying for an Oscar.
that's the whole social media content stuff. It's crazy.
Like
I
anyone
know.
can pay.
And you're so amazing to watch. So everyone go and follow her because she's amazing.
Thank you. We're both gonna get. I'm not paying though.
No, no, don't need to. Don't need to.
If we'll never get it, then I don't know who cares. But thank you.
Well, yeah, I love you. Thank you so much. And everyone go follow Tanya, and we will definitely bring you back on. And I want to catch up with you and follow up with how everything's going in a few weeks.
Okay, sounds good.
Okay, I love you. I'll see you soon.